Good morning, Mystic Fitness community. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Sunday. We have yoga weekly 8 o'clock during the week, 9 o'clock on the weekends. We have a never expanding evening schedule that's becoming more and more expanded, so please continue to check our schedule on a regular basis. And if you feel, kind of comfortable being outdoors with us, this is such a beautiful space, and it's just not going to last forever. It's going to be probably another couple of months until we can take advantage of this beautiful weather. So please try to come out and join us. And otherwise, we are on live stream as well on Facebook and on Instagram. So let's come into a comfortable place to begin with and invite your bodies to find the earth and find a comfortable release into the present moment as you take a deep in breath and sigh it out. One more time. And then the invitation is to begin to sense yourself as yourself outside of the thinking mind. And so what does that mean? Just the invitation to see and meet yourself at your most authentic kind of expression of yourself, in the most simple expression of yourself. Your own physical body connected to the ground beneath you. The expression of your breath as it enters and exits the body. And the experiencing of the moment on a visceral level. And the expression that's used for that is the felt sense. And I invite your attention to direct itself towards the feel of your body from the inside. The feel of your chest from the inside, your belly, your hands and your feet. The feel of weight as it fully kind of gives itself to the ground. And take in the feel of sounds. In a way that doesn't involve only the ears, as if you are experiencing sound throughout the body. Not just the ears. And with this comes a beautiful sense of peace and connection. And together we take a deep in-breath and sigh it out. One more time. And we'll slowly make the way back into a seated position if you're not there already. There's no rush to get there. You might decide to roll over onto your side or rock and roll up and down. And start to rub the palms together. As you plant your hands on top of your heart, or maybe one hand over the belly. Connect to your own heart and find this like heart-centered, welcoming of life as it is. And whatever you're dealing with or struggling with or worried about this morning, welcome that into your heart. The heart is a very, very expansive place, much more than we think. And from that place, we welcome the practice and the day by opening with the sound of Om, a cleansing breath together as you inhale and exhale. Inhale. As you slowly reopen your eyes, take your fists and just circle them around a few times. Crunch open and close your fingers and then circle the wrists in the other direction. And shake the hands. Let's come together into a standing position. And as you arrive into standing position, circle the shoulders around a few times. And then separate your feet wide enough so that you're actually feeling the earth beneath you, the wet grass if you're out here. And just kind of let yourself kind of experience that sense of earth, like true earth beneath your feet, lifting and separating the toes. And take your wrists and shake them up a little bit. And begin to take your right arm all the way up with an in-breath, and on the out-breath, bending to one side and alternating between the sides. And there's this really wonderful way to stretch, standing up and warm up the body. And it's underutilized in yoga. I've started to notice in my own practice. And you can take your hands to your hips and kind of circle the hips around and bend and extend the legs side to side to access the hips and the lower back. For me, it feels really good to have my legs nice and separated. But for some of you, it might be more comfortable to have the legs closer or wider. And after you've done some rotational motions throughout the hips and some lateral bending side to side, take your time and start to find some twisting motions side to side. One way that I like to do this is I like to kind of open up so that the right hand is up and over, or that the left hand is up and over the right hip, and the right hand is in the back, and kind of looking back, and then reopening the arms all the way up and around, and taking it to the other side. Looking up and around as you twist. And this is incorporating the shoulders, it's incorporating the arms, it's incorporating the neck. And you might now start to find a subtle bending in the knees each time you twist. And at one point, start to just do these kind of like empty coat sleeves motions, rotational motions. Just back and forth. And then let the body kind of take whatever it needs to take, including some shaking of the legs, shaking of the arms. And here we've moved the spine in multiple directions. We've done some twisting motions, some lateral motions, and we'll finally find some extensions and flexions in the spine. So find a kind of a squat and allow the hips to draw back a little more, and begin to arch and curl the spine now, like as if you're doing cat and cow on the ground, on hands and knees. And I invite you to really kind of exaggerate that opening in the heart, looking upwards with the in-breath, and with the out-breath looking downwards and curling, and finding the expression of like elongation throughout the lower back area with that kind of compression at the same time. So after you've done that a few times, you can just release back the shoulders and come back into Tadasana, mountain pose. Reactivating the feet hip distance apart into the ground. Feeling the earth, and imagine that you're growing roots underground. And two arms reach overhead as you look up towards the head, deep in breath. On the out breath, bow, hinge from the head. You might place your elbows on your thighs, or you might release all the way down into a fold. Bend and extend the legs a few times so that you're dropping the hips up and down. And we'll step back slowly into a plank pose. As you arrive into plank, see the activity of the hands pressing the floor away. Engage your quads and glutes muscles a lot. And take a deep in breath and out breath. And take your time to press back into your downward facing dog. And here, either alternate between a back and forth between plank and downward dog, or pedal the feet in your downward dog, rocking hips side to side. And eventually shift back into a plank pose. Release the knees to the ground, shift your chest forward with the in-breath, and on the out-breath lower down into a few push-ups. So I like to keep the knees on the ground, but some of us have the strength to do these push-ups without the knees on the ground. And what I mean by that is we're not looking at a snake-like motion up and down, we're looking at a straight line up and down. Beginning to draw some fire into the body, the upper body, as well as the core, center. And coming all the way down to the ground to find the first baby cobra as you activate the shoulders, rolling them back, squeezing those shoulder blades muscles and planting down the shoelace sides of the feet into the ground. From here, pressing back to a downward facing dog and expanding the hips back while you maintain a bend in the knees, maybe some shifting back and forth. So we have multiple ways of moving in yoga, and one of the things you can kind of decide for yourself is if you'd rather be kind of stretching in a more dynamic way, which is kind of bending and extending on a regular basis, or holding the stretch. So find what nourishes your body more. And reach the right leg up towards the sky with the next in-breath. On the out-breath, bring the knee towards the chest as you curl. Inhaling back. With the exhale, step the foot to the outside of the right hand and have the toes kind of face sideways. Yeah, kind of like you're going to go into lizard. Yeah. So the toes are facing sideways a little bit more, and the foot is to the outside edge of the mat a little bit more. Place your weight into your left hand and open up into a twist to the right. Deep in-breath. On the out-breath, thread it through. In and out. 5 more times. Two more. And finally, hold the twist. Open up. Let those fingertips draw really, really high as you relax your shoulders. And then release the right hand down and step back into a downward facing dog. From here, the left leg will rise to the sky with the in-breath. On the out-breath, the knee comes to the chest. In, lengthen back. And out, step to the outside of the left hand. And open it up into a twist to the left. And thread it through a few times, back and forth. Now, really activate that right hand against the ground, pressing the floor away. And try not to collapse your right shoulder inwards, like kind of letting it internally rotate, so that you're really stacking these joints. Keep squeezing the right leg and the right quads muscles. Finally, holding into the twist for a deep in-breath. And on the out-breath, release the hands down. Find a plank pose and go onto your forearms. So when you come down onto your forearms, we're giving those wrists a break, still maintaining a lot of strength around the core. Activate the elbows firmly against the ground. Squeeze your core muscles, your quads and glutes, and breathe, drawing the chest a little bit more forward. Two more breaths, you guys. And now repress yourself back up into a plank with the right hand, pressing up to plank and downward facing dog. Good job. Bend your knees, press your hips back, look forward with the inhale. On the exhale, walk or float forward, coming into a forward fold. As you rise all the way up, take a deep in-breath. Arms reach overhead. Fists are made with the hands to circle wrists around. And we slowly bow forward, hinging from the hips into a forward fold. Drop the hips, coming into a chair pose. Draw the hips back into a ski racer a little bit more. And take some alternations, just rising and lowering. Rising and lowering. Now the next time that you lower, I'm going to have you swing those arms back and forth. Notice how I'm finding a little bit of a, what is this called? Like a little pivot. I'm lifting my heels a little bit up. Yeah, so you're finding a little bit of a springy lightness against the ground. Yeah, and this might start to take you into some hops. So when you go up and down and you hop, you land. Good. So when you're landing, your hips are drawing back more into a squat. The hop can be as high as you want it to, or as low as you want it to. And your heart rate should be getting a little bit higher now. Let's do 5 more. Last one, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, forward fold. Good job. Take a deep in-breath as the hands come to half lift and really just draw that chest forward with the inhale. The exhale takes you back to plank. And from here, either lowering the knees to the ground and coming all the way down, or coming halfway for Chaturanga Dandasana. Either a baby cobra or an upward facing dog with the in-breath, to a downward facing dog with the out-breath. And breathe. The right leg will rise to the sky for the inhale. With the exhale, the knee comes towards the right elbow. The foot steps to the outside of the right hand. We take a twist. And as you slowly release the right hand down, we'll allow the right leg to slowly, the left leg to slowly step forward to the outside of the left foot, left hand. So coming into a little bit of a yogi squat, and then rising all the way up to stand. Breath in together. On the out breath, bow, forward fold. In, halfway lift. Out, step back, come into plank. Hold for the in breath and lower down, out breath. In, open heart, and out, downward dog. Left leg rises with a deep in-breath. Out-breath, knee comes to the left elbow. Foot steps to the outside of the left hand. You take a twist. As you release the hand, the right foot steps to the outside of the right hand into a squat. And we rise all the way up. Toe heel the feet towards one another. Take a deep inhale together. On the exhale, bow, forward fold. We're building on in half lift. On the exhale, plant palms down, step back. Find your plank. Take it all the way to your downward dog. You might skip the chaturangas, we've done a lot. Or you might take it again. Once you get there, you can take that right leg out towards the sky with the in-breath. Step it to the outside of the right hand. And from here, see as you take that right hand into a twist, see if you can either stay here or walk that back foot through, threading it through to the front. You're going to need to toe heel that right foot much more towards the right and to the back. Yes. Holy shit, what just happened, right? Good. Now, step it back. Plant your right hand on the ground. Dial the left heel to the left. And then take the right foot to the back and outside for a side plank with an open heart. You are with me. Yes. Deep in breath. With the out breath, return back to the center and this time step forward for a regular crescent. As you rise up into your crescent, bend the back knee, tuck the pelvis under, and feel that openness and maybe some wrist circles. We've done a lot on the wrists. As the hands come to the hips, we'll take our time to slowly shift the weight into that front leg. Bring the left knee up towards the chest and cross the left ankle over top of the right thigh. Once you get there, draw the hips back. Same thing as we did on 2 feet, but this time we are on one leg. Maybe the arms go forward. As you return to center, inhale. Take that leg forward. Take it to the side and cross it behind you into a squat. You with me? Come back to center. Take it around and cross it into balance. Either staying here or shifting back into a squat. And we'll do it again. Coming up. Your right glute is super engaged. You're doing it at your own level. The leg might be so low or it might be a little higher. You're placing it in a place where your right knee is still on top of your right ankle. And then coming back, up and over and around into a one-legged squat. Keep falling and coming out of it and coming back into it. And keep strengthening that right leg and that right glute. Let's do it one more time. Up and around. And as you return back to center, we will step back into a regular crescent to open it up for your warrior two. As you open it up to your warrior two, notice the new plane of motion here that we are facing, a different plane. Circle wrists, and take a back and forth side bends. If it makes you feel kind of more of a release in the right leg, you can bend and extend the right leg as well. At some point, we will find our way into a triangle pose. The way I like to teach triangle is instead of coming into it with a straight leg, which kind of adds compression on the hip, I like to come into it with the bent knee to begin with, and then extending the leg. So what's happening here is the use of our core is really paramount, and the micro bend in the left knee is really important to not overextend around the joints. Notice if your butt is pressed all the way back, and see if you can kind of tuck the tailbone under a bit more, open the chest a little more, letting yourself kind of lift out of that collapse into gravity. Good, and as you return back to the center, get those toes to face me and bow forward into a wide-legged forward fold. Rock the hips side to side a bit. And then start to bend and extend into the right and left legs a few times. Taking your side lunges Now the next time that you come into your side lunge to the left, stay here, plant your right hand under your shoulder, and twist to the left. Take a deep in-breath. On the out-breath, bend your left knee, go to your side lunge to the left, and then cross into a twist, taking a hold of your right shin with your left hand. I'm sorry, your left shin with your right hand. Now I'm mirroring you. You got it. Come back to the center. Shift your weight into your right leg again. Bend it and open up into a twist. Inhale. On the exhale, take it to the other side. Right hand to left shin as you twist. Good. Once again, one last time. Inhale. Open up. And exhale. Left hand has not left the ground. Good job. Come back into a wide-legged forward fold with a deep in-breath. On the out-breath, walk your hands towards your right foot for a runner lunge. From your runner lunge, find a three-legged dog. Deep inhale together. And then take your time to slowly bring the knee towards the chest. Curl. Hold the curl for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then step forward with the right foot to come into Parshvottanasana pyramid pose. As you bow forward and just allow for that bow to happen, you might stretch the mat apart with your feet, taking care that your feet are still hip distance apart. And slowly returning back into your runner lunge and to your plank. As you hold it for a deep in-breath, out-breath lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana. In for an up dog or a cobra, and out, downward facing dog. Good job, you guys. And we'll take it to the other side. Left leg rises with a deep in-breath. First, remember, we're taking the foot to the outside of the left hand, kind of like a lizard. And now one thing I want to really try to help you with here is the foot is way out, so much more further than your mat. Out, 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 and then back more. Yes, now you have space for that back foot to thread through the front. Do it, Larry, do it, Larry. Good. Once we go back into that plank, we're going to dial the right heel to the right, take the left foot behind us to open it up into like an open-hearted side plank. Returning back to the center, take a deep in-breath. Out-breath, step the left foot to the front of the mat for a crescent. Regular crescent, yeah. Bend back knee, tuck pelvis under. Relax shoulders, maybe circle wrists. Shake them up. Take a deep in-breath together as you slowly shift your weight into that left leg. Cross the ankle over, sink down, come back to center, take the leg around and back for a squat. Coming back and around and through. Squat down on this side. Back and around and through to squat down again. We're going to do this 2 more times. Do it on your own terms. Last time. Feel the burn in that left glute. Good job. Now we're going to come back to the center and step back into crescent. Dial the back heel down for warrior two. And here I'd like to actually bend and extend through the front leg, just to give it a little bit of a break after all this work that we did. And then reversing your warrior on both sides, alternating between a reverse and a side angle. And eventually return to your side angle for your triangle. So from there, from that bent knee position, you eventually extend the right leg, finding that triangle pose. Notice if you're collapsed into it. So take a look quickly. You're not here, you're here. Yeah, there's a big difference between being here and being nice and open. Activate feet firmly into ground and spread that mat apart. Two more breaths. And as you return back to the center, we're going to come into that wide-legged forward fold. As you bow forward in your forward fold, coming into the side lunges. The side lunges. So now as you find your way onto your right side lunge, so your weight is in the right foot and the right knee is bent. Place the right hand under the right shoulder and twist to the left. Good job. Now as you bend the left knee, grab a hold of the outside of the right shin and come into a twist. Again, bending right knee, opening up into a twist. And taking it to the other side as you bend the left knee. And grab a hold of the right leg. And do it again, a couple more times. You got it, Cheryl. You got it, you guys. Nice. And once you're done with that, just take your regular forward fold and enjoy it. Take any variations that you wish here. Let your bodies kind of feel the inversion in a way that's nourishing to the body. There's something very, very powerful about inversions. The inversions allow for a shift in perspective as well as a deep calm. Feel the weight of your head. Let the head kind of say no and yes. Let your jaw muscles soften. As you return back to the left leg for a runner lunge, find your way into Parshvottanasana, pyramid pose. Back foot walks forward, slightly dials down. There's the opportunity to bow forward with the feet hip distance apart. Those hips are facing down, and you're really just lengthening through the left leg. . Returning back into your runner lunge. Deep in breath. And find your way in a three-legged dog as you elongate through the other leg. And slowly release back and come down onto your hands and knees. Allow your body to arch and curl through the spine a few times. And then rise up, standing on your knees, to come into a gate pose. As you extend your leg to the side, your right leg to the side. Those who are watching me on live stream, it'll be your left leg probably. And as you take your time to find a side bend towards the side, come and take it to the other side. Planting your left hand down on the ground, lift your opposite leg and start to bend and extend through the leg a few times. At some point you'll grab a hold of your ankle to find a quad stretch. And this is a little bit of a balance challenge as well. Tuck the tailbone under, tuck your hips under to really feel that quad stretch. Beautiful. As you return back with the leg extended to the side, bring your left foot to the inside and sit back into a seated position, maintaining an elongation in that right leg. From here, we'll allow for another side bend. And this time, what I like to do is I like to kind of turn towards the bent knee, then bend, so that we can maintain that really nice length without collapsing into the back. Good job. Some of us can go really deep, and some of us are just going to go to a point where it feels a really nice lateral stretch. You guys feel that? As you return back to the center, take your time to bring that right foot to the front of the left ankle and come into a twist towards the left. Yeah. I'm sorry, did I say left? Right. I can tell when people like hesitate after they've been in the pose. I'm like, wait a second. One more deep in breath. With the out breath, make your way back onto your knees. And let's go into gate pose on the other side. Extending the left leg. Bending towards the extended leg. And then bending to the opposite side. First, find that extension of the leg and the bending and extending of the knee. Keep the glutes super strong. Engage the pelvic floor muscles too to get into that inner core. And then the quad stretch as you tuck the tailbone under. With a strong sense of balance, return back to the center, re-extending the left leg. And then with that right foot towards the inside, make your way into seated. Keep the left leg extended, the right foot towards the inner hip. And then reach your arms up together, turns towards the bent knee, then find a side bend towards the extended leg. Relaxing the left arm down, maybe even taking that left elbow to the inner thigh to kind of open up through the chest a little bit more. And activate your right sits bone into the ground a little bit more. For those who are on live stream, it will be your left sit. Coming back towards the center. Take that extended leg. Step the heel to the front of the ankle and take a twist to your left. We're turning around in all directions. This is so great for your internal organs and for your spine. As you come back to the center, make your way into a half pigeon on the right side or into a seated pigeon. So you can either cross your right ankle on top of your right thigh, left thigh, stay here in a seated, or go into a prone version of this where the right leg goes forward and the left leg extends back. Now some of you with super open hips can come into a double pigeon, which is pretty much the same thing as a seated pigeon, but then that left ankle crosses under and we're basically stacking our legs on top of each other and going forward a little bit into the stretch. This is a pretty deep stretch. Now Cheryl, bring your ankle a little bit more to the other side. Yes. And flex it. Yeah, and this is great. We'll maintain this nice long spine with both sits bones active into the ground. And you might just let yourself kind of relax into the pose, breath by breath. So we could either go into a stretch and then go into our heads and plan out our day, or we could actually feel and experience the experience of opening in the body. Letting the experience of opening kind of be delightful. Feeling as the energy kind of settles down and down and down into the ground. Opening back up to the sound of nature. Feeling the caress of the wind on your skin. As the settling down into the feel of weight continues. In this incredible silence in the background of all things. In this sense of interconnectedness with all that exists. Consider that the trees themselves can sense your presence. One more deep inhale. With the exhale, returning back towards the center, maybe to a seated position altogether with extended legs. And potentially either a straight-legged seated forward fold or a wide-legged seated forward fold. You can stay here for as long as it feels comfortable until you make it to the other side of Pigeon on your own terms. Now I invite you to notice the difference between each side and how one side might need a different kind of attention than the other. And notice if you tend to kind of flop quickly into the pose. There's nothing wrong. It's just a noticing if you have this kind of automatic way of transitioning from one thing to another. And begin to build a sense of awareness that kind of nurtures the arrival and the exit, as well as the position itself. And again, welcoming the freshness, the interaction with the natural world, and the meeting it as a being in and of itself. One of the tendencies of human beings is to operate in the world as if they are alone, without a sense of how one's actions affect each other or other beings on this planet. We are being given a gift of awareness, not to beat ourselves up, but to consider. That these birds, these leaves, these skies are also aware and interacting with us. 2 more breaths. And really kind of making your way back into your seated position. And as you slowly bend your knees, you're going to make your way back onto your backs. So maybe you kind of play around with going up and down a couple of times with the activity of the feet really grounded. And finally releasing yourself all the way down with control to the ground. And as you arrive to the ground, take any postures that you wish to make your practice feel complete. Here I'd like to take a bridge pose sometimes, or I like to kind of recline. And let there be this kind of expression of your own kind of residual movement, like what else is left that your body needs until it feels that it's complete. You might realize that it's really ready for complete stillness. At some point, allowing the body to come to stillness for Shavasana. And as you direct your attention to your heart space, allow the heart area to be felt fully. As you're making space for the breath to flow more smoothly. And as you soften and open your heart, there's something magical that happens in the belly area. That constriction in the heart sometimes creates a compression on the belly. And by softening the constriction in the heart, around the heart, there might be this kind of relief in the belly. And that belly area is so important because it carries a lot of emotional turmoil. So continue to open and soften the heart. Inviting space for the breath. And invite an opening around your roots, your base, your legs. And with this sense of opening, there's a little bit of a inclination to like a yes to life. It's a message that we're giving the universe that we are willing to receive. And the more we close up, it's kind of like closing the doors. to receiving. And we want to just kind of, yes, an open and curious sense of receiving. Everything that exists right here and right now has a right to exist, including any feelings that you might have that you don't like. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Mani Padme Hum. In preparation for some small movements throughout the body, take a deep in-breath and let it go. One more time. And slowly begin to move your body to slowly roll over onto your side, eventually making a way up to seated. And as we arrive together for the close of practice, bring your hands back to your heart. And invite a sense of commitment. That word commitment is actually a really beautiful word. It has nothing to do with morality. It's more of a kind of an intention that feels true on a visceral level. Invite a sense of commitment to your own well-being, whatever that may be. And invite also a sense of giving of that well-being into the world, giving of yourself into the world. And closing the practice together with this beautiful expression of commitment. We'll close with the sound of Om, a cleansing breath. Inhale. I thank you for your presence today with us, and I bow to you, and hope to see you again soon. Namaste.